The ever-popular First Do No Harm is a great place to start. I mean, clear, concise, it's probably even a good place to end, but I got another 15 minutes to go. And I also think that it really sort of lacks a basic element of human psychology. The other way to go would be from a religious framework. And as much as I do respect religious theory and theology in general, I have a problem with most religious frameworks. I think that most of them seem to be rooted in a system of threats and punishments as opposed to an actual idea of what behavior should be. And even the most enlightened religions still have that sort of threat and reward system. I mean, yeah, you go and do something wrong, it's consigned to hell forever and ever and ever by a supposedly loving God, proving once and for all that Western society has a very deep daddy issue and should really seek therapy over. But even the supposedly more enlightened Eastern religions or even the you reap what you sow from Christianity, or karma is a boomerang, or the rule of three, it all still comes down to you do good things happen, you go to heaven, good things come back to you. You do bad things, you get an almighty smackdown. I see the need and use for this idea. It works great for children and Zen Gnostics, but I think we can do better. I really do. And where is there room in that for just doing the right thing because it's the right thing? I think most, if not all, people really do start from an idea of punishment. Most kids learn the word no before they learn the word yes. My dog even learns the word no. And when it comes to the idea of, and then after that, we get the idea of punishment. You know, you do something bad, you get punished. Ideas of hell and eternal punishment really come out of that. And whether it be sitting at the corner for, and I lost my place. Okay. And whether that punishment be sitting in the corner for all eternity or an almighty spanking, even these every religion seems to have this. So, we move from punishment to then we've got the rule of three, the golden rule. You reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. Karma is a boomerang. What you do returns to you threefold or tenfold or however many times you can fold it up. But I like it. I mean, it's better. I'm cool with that. But we still have the element of punishment there. Only it adds an element of personal responsibility that I really do like. A bit of carrot and stick, if you will. And I like the carrot and stick framework. I use it a lot in many of my readings. In fact, I'll often announce halfway through the reading, we're now coming to the carrot and stick portion of the evening. If you listen to what I'm telling you in this reading, I see this potential future. If you don't, well, but there's still that element of threat and reward there, and the idea that we're sort of missing that idea of taking care of yourself and the people around you, not for the benefit that you may receive in the future, or because reincarnation says that poor schmuck might be you someday. But where is doing the right thing just because it's the right thing to do? I mean, I don't want to get really Pollyanna-ish about the whole thing, but I truly believe that the evolution of morality is beyond just punishment and reward and all that sort of thing, but doing what is right because it's the right thing to do, even if the only person watching or being watching you is you. So the crux of it is, I really believe that if you really focus on the difference between good and evil, really think about it, you can't choose evil and say that you're on the path of light. You can't do evil works and then say it's for the greater good, and you had no choice, and just shrug it off. If you do something bad and you say you're on the path of good, there's always got to be a real element of choice to that. You cannot say that we're the good guys and if we do it, it's got to be good. You can't, I mean, it doesn't work. Evil acts are evil acts no matter who is committing them or why. It's not complicated most of the time. The reason why we do stuff may be complicated. The effects usually are pretty simple. And the core of evil, I really believe, is the core of casual choice is seeing people as things. See, the thing of it is, you have to choose a path and you have to take responsibility. It's what being on a spiritual path really is all about. You can't say, well, he did it, and so did I, or it's her fault, not mine, or I was just keeping up with traffic officer. You chose this life. If you're on a spiritual path, you chose it. You said that you're on it, and choice is the thing here. Taking responsibility for the choices. of what you've chosen to do. It's our greatest gift and our greatest challenge. If we were gifted or developed or evolved free will and the knowledge of good and evil, then everything we do and every choice that we make is our responsibility. And you can't just say, and we choose to do it, we have to take responsibility. And even if our choice is to give up our free will to somebody else, we still made that choice, and then we're responsible for everything that comes out of it. Even if you say, well, I'm just going to do exactly what he does, and he does something awful, and then you do something awful, and you still did something awful. It's nobody else's fault. What you do, it's always your choice. And whatever you say, whatever excuses, it's always going to come back to you and the choices you make and where those choices take you. I mean, it's the action of making a choice. Often, that's more important than what the choice is. Just making the choice and owning the choice. And I'm not saying being all bold and brash and, yeah, it was the right thing to do. I'm saying it's good and you should admit that you're wrong. You know, say very firmly, yes, I chose to invade Pennsylvania. It was a bad decision. It was a wrong thing to do, and I'm not going to do it again. Don't blame bad advice or faulty intelligence or anything else. Stand up and say, yeah, I did it. It was really dumb. I'm not going to do it again. But I take responsibility for it. And the thing that, and there's been and one of the other things that's been coming up a lot lately, you're seeing a lot of this, especially in the healthcare debate, is there's a lot of bad discussions about personal responsibility, and it's in the news. It's very, forceful, right-wing to say, personal responsibility. It's all, you got to take care of yourself. And when I was first writing this, I had no intention of doing anything on public responsibility because there's just, it's such a big, hideous ball of goo. I really didn't want to get involved. But there's been so much discussion of it in the news lately that I couldn't do a talk on personal responsibility and choice without hitting on this, or at least addressing it. Because, a lot in this recent healthcare debate has been brought front and center, especially as we're talking about, what is the public's responsibility for healthcare and all that sort of thing, and why should I pay for somebody else? If I'm a person who tries to take care of himself and eats right and exercises, why should I have to pay for the healthcare of someone who, just sits around and eats a dozen donuts every day? And I've heard that, and it sounds reasonable until you actually think about it. And then you're like, well, because eventually everyone's going to fall down a flight of stairs or something. And yeah, well, maybe you fell down a flight of stairs? Why should I pay for that? I've never fallen down a flight of stairs. But it's still, there's still that element of, it doesn't work. And especially when you take it bigger. And I believe that it is the duty of every person to take care of the body that they have been given. Treat the body as a temple, caring for it, building it with proper ingredients, polishing the pews. Metaphor's gotten away from me. But taking care of yourself and taking responsibility for yourself. I also believe that it's the duty of every person to care for and be responsible for the people around you, and to provide love and healthcare and assistance for even the donut lovers. Who doesn't love donuts? And if you need it to, and also if you really want to take it to a completely selfish level, if God and I are one, and you and God are one, then you and I are one, and we should have drinks together and get to know ourselves better. But I suppose that's still taking it back to the old carrot and stick thing. Punishment and reward, and we really can do that. We can learn from the choices. We can learn from the choices we make, and we can do better. And we can learn from the consequences. And we can say, if this was a lesson, if this was a test, I will take it and I will learn, and I will take that and I will do better next time. There's always going to be a next time. That's the wonderful opportunity we have here in Earth School, as it were. There's always an opportunity to do a next time, and to choose again, and to learn the lesson, and pass the test, and get ready for the next one, and choose to take it. We're on a wonderful journey here as modern mystics, and I figure if you're here, you must be one. And we have the opportunities to be leaders and healers to our society, and those around us, or to be demons and monsters, or to choose to drop out and just be yet another person choosing not to choose. All I want, and the real purpose of this talk, is to really just say, choose, and choose again, and choose again, and again, and again, and again, and keep making those choices, and choosing to make choices, and then choose again. And of course, I gotta end and say, to all those people out there who would like to, choose to be scammers and sleaze and sell snake oil, all I gotta say is,